Well, Trump just blew past. He just the one thing that we'll have to say about him is he said, I could shoot someone on Fifth Avenue and my people would give a shit. He actually is an adjudicated rapist on Fifth Avenue. A court of competent jurisdiction, a judge said by any common definition of the word rape, you raped that woman.
This is the dressing room one?
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, that may have happened, but I mean,
a jury in a court said it did.
That fucking means nothing to me because I know what they know, which is nothing. They know two people said two different things about something that happened in the 90s and of which there's no witnesses or tape.
Well,
look, I hate Donald Trump as much as anybody, but I can't say for sure I just know that. Just because 9 people said they think that, I can't.
First of all,
but yes,
they had more evidence. In other words,
did?
Yes. So she told me
what was the
happened.
What was the evidence?
Other people that she told contemporaneous with it.
Well,
which is whatever. A jury said that
you know what? You know more about this case than apparently I do. And maybe if I knew everything, I would be completely.
I know that a jury.
Yeah.
I tend to have more faith in those people. In juries, I think most of them really try to weigh what's there. And I do know that a jury, but now I'm going to get too technical here, but by a preponderance of the evidence.
Right.
It's a little bit of a different standard in a criminal case. It's beyond a reasonable doubt.
I'm admitting I didn't know that there was like evidence. I just thought it was he said, she said.
All right, folks, things got intense the moment Bill Maher and James Carville sat down together. So brace yourself because the tension showed up fast and sparked a serious backlash. Carville laid out his case by arguing that the GOP has drifted from its old business-focused roots into something far more chaotic, driven by populist, nationalist energy, pointing straight at figures like Ron DeSantis and Vivek Ramaswamy as proof. Maher didn't let the left off the hook either, pulling back to say the far left has gone just as far off course, consumed by purity tests, cancellation habits, and rigid group loyalty, which ironically starts to mirror the very MAGA-style thinking they claim to oppose. Here's the uncomfortable part. Both Carville and Maher agreed on one harsh reality. Political conversation in America has reached a strange and troubling place. Republicans aren't just pushing back against Democrats anymore. Many now see them as a bigger danger than foreign rivals like Russia, which says a lot about how warped priorities have become. This wasn't a friendly back and forth or a polite debate. It was a blunt look at how reason, balance, and honest discussion are being squeezed out by party loyalty and rigid ideology, leaving very little room for real understanding on either side.
There is a genius to his madness, and the thing I always say about Trump, you have to remember, he's stupid and crazy, and they're two completely different things. And this is like the crazy part works for him because he's without a mechanism to edit or to pull back. So, as my friend Jimmy always says, insanity photographs. You can't take your eyes off him. Obviously, whenever they put him on TV, the ratings go through the roof. And that's why insane people are charismatic. You can't look away. So when he does all this, I mean, not just sexual stuff, but certainly the sexual stuff, it's like, I'm going to own, no one else in the world would even think of this as a strategy. And he has no strategy. It's just what he feels. He's all id. But to own that, to own being this kind of guy, and half the country likes it. Or at least it's not a deal breaker because they feel like it's honest.
At least he's honest. He says what he thinks.
Yeah.
He doesn't have to. The thing when you like is he tells you it's okay if you hate other people. He validates what that guy says. I like because he says what I think.
Well, he plays on the fact that his people think that your people hate them and look down on them and see them as deplorables. I mean, I think they think...
there's some truth to that.
Oh, wait, there's a lot of truth.
And I, as good a Democrat
yes,
as
you
the next
are.
person, But you hear this shit, so I don't know if we ever talked about this.
At the core of their conversation was the idea that real disagreement and respectful debate have nearly vanished. Because politics today isn't just about how you vote anymore. It's treated like a full social identity with unspoken rules you're never allowed to break. Step even slightly out of line and you risk being shut out, labeled, or completely rejected by your own side. Maher, who has built a career challenging extremists on both ends, pointed out how politics has shifted away from persuasion and toward posturing, where moral showmanship and public signaling matter more than ideas. On the left, this shows up as strict ideological purity tests, while on the right, it takes the form of intense nationalism, packaged differently but driven by the same unhealthy mindset. Carville didn't soften his words either, arguing that many Americans now care more about proving loyalty than passing meaningful laws, a problem made worse by media outlets that thrive on outrage rather than understanding. The goal is no longer to inform or educate, but to keep people angry and locked inside their own echo chambers. And the cost of that is enormous because compromise has been rebranded as weakness. In this climate, opponents aren't just seen as mistaken, but as morally bad. And both Carville and Maher warned that continuing down this path leads to endless division where winning arguments matters more than real progress. Their challenge was clear. If democracy is going to survive, people have to step outside their ideological bubbles, accept discomfort, and genuinely listen to opposing views, because without that effort, the divide won't heal. It will only keep growing.
And confesses to them. And like, I got rid of the FBI director because a lot of pressure on me. Like, yes, that's your interior monologue. There's a lot of pressure on me because the FBI is looking into me for good reason. You don't say. So I invited the Russians in. I mean, like, it's so beyond it. This is not
the Russian ambassador showing him top secret shit. He was showing a guy at Bedminster, look at these.
But I mean, he does one a day, or he did when he was president, like something that only a nut would do. It's amazing to me that we lived through those 4 years, because when I look back on it, and of course the Trump people say, oh, you know, you have Trump derangement syndrome, and yeah, he blew up the world, right, Bill? I don't think, you know, you're right. He didn't blow up the world. I still think he could. Okay. Is that completely crazy that I think a crazy person could blow up the world? No.
The shit that he did is like stunning.
I'm saying no.
The documents case, if you stop and you think about it, like one time,
like I could read 1,000 tweets that are just insane that just went by. I remember there was one that said he was mad at China, and he said, I hereby, he's the king, I hereby order all American companies to immediately, you know, work on a plan to change your, he was like ordering them to get out of China. I hereby order. And again, that's just insane that nobody else would even think to do that. But he doesn't think. That's his insanity and his attraction.
Let me ask you a question. Okay, history eventually finds out. They find this asshole Pius XII. They found the letter where they told him they were gassing.
Pope during World War II?
Yeah. All right. We know in history he's been outed, I guess is what you would say.
Right.
Do you think, with all the history is known, would you guess that the Russians have compromised on Trump? Or that's just liberal factors?
No, I have always said that the Russian hoax theory is a hoax. Plainly, there was something going on between Russia and Trump. It was not perhaps, first of all, I always thought Mueller.
In politics, making enemies can be just as crucial as keeping allies. And that's not cynicism. It's the unvarnished reality of how power operates in Washington. Political loyalty has become a measure of morality, but Carville cuts through the noise. It's not about how you feel, it's about winning. To succeed, you must know who's on your side, and just as importantly, who's trying to take you down. Treating leaders as political clowns can have consequences, and ignoring the lessons of strategy risks electoral upheaval. Carville exposes a deeper flaw in the Democratic playbook. Too many focus on moral posturing over practical thinking, celebrating every demographic shift or policy win as though it ends the game, when in reality, it's often resentment masquerading as logic. To rally his supporters, he leverages the media, opponents, party officials, all while staying committed to his strategy regardless of chaos around him. The message is clear. Surviving in today's hyper-partisan world demands understanding your opponents, recognizing the stakes, and acting with purpose. Carville isn't just offering advice, he's waving a giant warning flag. Ignore it at your own peril. If you enjoyed this deep dive, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Hit the notification bell and share this analysis. Thanks to your support, the community keeps growing, and in the next one, we'll tackle even more insane political insights.